So our first one, they're giving us 3 fractions, 5/7, 5/12, then 13/18, and then 17/60. So we want a least common denominator. So for that, one way we can do that is by using factors. So we have 2 times 6, 2 is prime, 6 is not, and that's 2 times 3, those are both prime. 18 is going to be 2 times 9, 2 is prime, 9 is not. So we have 3 times 3, those are all prime. This 6 times 10, and 6 is 2 times 3, and 10 is 2 times 5. So, to find the least common denominator, we find the least common multiple, which simply means we multiply the most of each one. So if we take a look here, our most 2's, this one has 2 2's, for a second one has 1 2, and this has 2 2's. So our most 2's are going to be 2 of them. So we have 2 2's. Our most 3's, here we have 1, here we have 2, here we have 1. So the most of that would be the 3's here, 2 3's. Then the most 5's, there's only 1 5. So we'd have 5 there. So we would multiply these to get the least common multiple. So to multiply these, I'm going to use the associative property. 5 times 2 is 10, and 3 times 3 is 9, times 2 is 18, and 10 times 18 is 180. So 180 is going to be our common denominator. So we're going to take these fractions here, 5/12, and we're going to make that over into 180. So we'd have to see what we're going to multiply by. The way we would do that is we would simply go through and divide 180 divided by 12. It goes in one time, which is 12 and 60 and 5. So that's going to give us 15. So if we multiply this times 15, we have to multiply this also by 15. So 5 times 10 is 50, and 5 times 5 is 25. 50 and 25 gives us 75. Our next fraction that we had was 13/18. And 13/18 into 180, we can see that we would multiply by 10. So if we multiply that by 10, we have to multiply this by 10, and we get 130. Okay. Then our third fraction is 17/60. So if we have 17/60 and we're going to make it into 180, we can just see 6 times 3 is 18, so that means we would multiply by 3. So that times 3, so 3 times 6 is 18, add a 0, 180. So we have to multiply this by 3. So using the distributive property, 3 times 10 is 30, 3 times 7 is 21, and 30 and 21 gives us 51. So once again, our reason for doing this is once we have a common denominator, we can just ignore that denominator and we just put these numbers in order. And we can see in order here, and we want them in order from largest to smallest. We can see 130 is the largest, 75 is next, and then 51 is going to be next after that. So that means our largest one has to be this one right here. So that means our largest one is 13/18. Then our next one would have to be the 75, which is our 5/12. And then the Last one, the smallest one, is 51 over 180, so the given fraction is 17 over 60. So when they say the given fraction, it means not the ones that we made up, but the ones that were given to us. So these are going to be our answers here for those in order. So once again, when we compare only like terms, which means get a common denominator and then ignore that denominator. Okay, for number 2, they want us to write 2 equivalent fractions suggested by the shaded area of the figure, and then come up with how we obtained our answer. So, first of all, we can count. A fraction is simply a part over a whole, all that it takes to make 1. So, the part that we have that's shaded is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We have 8 shaded, and the whole for this is going to be all of them, and that's 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's 8 out of 12 that are shaded. Now to get an equivalent fraction, we can simply multiply or divide the numerator or the denominator by the same number. If we take a look at these, we can see both of these are divisible by 4. If we divide 8 by 4, once again, if we divide one by 4, we divide the other by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2, 12 divided by 4 is 3. So this right here is going to be the same as 2 thirds. So that would be 1/3, and that would be 2/3, and then this third isn't shaded. So 8/4 would also be 2/3. So we can divide, because when we have 4 over 4 that equals 1, anything divided by 1 is itself. So 8/12 and 2/3 is the same amount.